Okay, ladies and gents, what's up? So it looks like that Tay-K is back in the news. That's right, because obviously Tay-K, he believes he wants a second chance at life. That's right. So it's going to be officially this year, 4 years into Tay-K's 55-year prison sentence. And obviously, first of all, the biggest thing that shocks me about this is the lack of remorse from Tay-K, because here's the thing, man, obviously Tay-K, I personally think that he will go down as the biggest wasted talent in hip-hop history. I do think so, because the potential that Tay-K had as a rapper was incredible. I mean, he could spit beats, he could spit bars, he could rap, he had the vocals for it, but the problem is that, Tay-K just made a lot of bad choices in his life, and it seems like he continues to play the blame game and just point the fingers at other people instead of just basically taking full accountability for his actions, because obviously, once Tay-K got caught, I really thought he was going to show accountability for his actions because, obviously, I personally don't think that the Race music video should have ever been made, okay? And let me explain to you people why. You see, because yes, the Race music video, it did make Tay-K a star, but at the very same time, the Race music video basically cost him his freedom, and it makes you realize that was it really worth all that, clout just for your freedom to be sacrificed? Because obviously, like the money that Tay-K made from that music video, the Race, he was never able to, spend it. And I'm talking about, him basically going out in the real world, maybe shopping, traveling, Tay-K never got to spend that money because all of that money, I assume, went towards legal fees and all that stuff and towards his lawyer. And the fact that Tay-K is still refusing to take accountability for his actions is extremely shocking to me, because here's the thing, man, when it comes to Tay-K, I sometimes think that, yeah, maybe 55 sentence might have been a little bit too harsh for Tay-K, considering the environment he grew up in, and all that stuff, but at the very same time, I'm pretty sure that people like Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent, Lil Wayne, they also grew up in rough environments as well. But the only difference is they didn't make any music videos where they basically, ran from the law and bragging about killing people, because the difference between 50 Cent, Snoop Dogg, and Lil Wayne is that they didn't do that. They used their, I guess you could say, the rap opportunity as a way to escape that environment. And that's what I think Tay-K should have really done, in my opinion, is just use that, all like the other music videos he made. Like, I felt like he could have used that as an opportunity to escape his environment and just gone on and produced other music videos instead of just recording the Race, because obviously the Race, it cost him his freedom. So it's like that whole growing up in a rough environment argument. Listen, man, like I said before, the rappers that I mentioned, they also grew up in a very rough environment, but the only difference is they didn't go out and start basically making music videos bragging about killing people and then trying to run from the law when they were already out on bond. Those rappers, they didn't do that. But Tay-K, obviously, he's the one who proceeded to record basically make a music video where he bragged about shooting people and all that. And it's like, first of all, that's the main reason why Tay-K got 55 years. And the biggest thing that shocks me about this whole thing is, why didn't Tay-K just accept a plea deal? It's like, he took the case to trial, but unfortunately, here's the thing, when it comes to taking stuff like capital murders to trial, or murder cases to trial, usually 99% of the time, it doesn't end well for the defendant, especially if the prosecution has overwhelming evidence against you. The only thing you can really do in that case is hope that, hey, if they offer you a plea deal, just take it. Don't try and fight the prosecution, because they are way more experienced than you. And unfortunately, Tay-K, instead of him taking a plea deal like how his other co-defendants did, he chose to try and think he was going to be able to beat this case, and outsmart everybody in the courtroom. And look what had happened. It's basically cost him his freedom. He's serving 55 years, and, obviously, he's facing another capital murder trial where he's accused of shooting, somebody that he tried to rob of his camera equipment, and then he left that person apparently to, basically die in a Chick-fil-A parking lot. So really, I mean, if I'm Tay-K, the thing I would do right now, for my first offense is just take accountability. It's not that hard to take accountability, because maybe if Tay-K would have taken accountability during the trial and apologized, first of all, to Ethan Walker's family, because obviously most people that, because I'm pretty sure that when Tay-K did all those crimes, he wasn't aware of the consequences he was going to be facing when he was caught, because obviously it's like, yeah, he recorded the race, but at the same time, it cost him his freedom. So what was really the whole point of, cutting your ankle monitor and bragging about, killing somebody in a music video? Like, that's not what hip-hop is supposed to be about, because here's the issue with hip-hop nowadays. Back then, when hip-hop was first a thing that was growing in America, especially in the 90s, with icons like Tupac, Biggie Smalls, The Game. The Game, he really became famous in the 2000s, but Eazy-E, Dr. Dre, the difference between those rappers and Tay-K is that those rappers, they basically sing about the struggles they grew up, because that's what really hip-hop was about back then, talking about, or basically rapping about how you overcame the struggles in your rough environment, not like how it's nowadays, where some rappers basically think that they are going to get famous by basically bragging about committing crimes in their video and thinking they can just cash off of that. And it's like, that's what I feel like rap has really become about nowadays, especially whenever I hear about how a rapper basically snitches on themselves in their music videos. And with Tay-K, it's like, first of all, the biggest thing that shocked me about this entire case was just the fact that Tay-K, it seems like, is still just thinking he's going to get away with what he did, because clearly that's not it, man. It's like he thought he could get away with doing what he did, and, he just, he lost the race at the end, and that put him in jail, basically, where, he basically, the only hope he really has is that he doesn't get found guilty of the second murder that he's facing, the second capital murder trial, because if he gets found guilty of, shooting and killing, allegedly, Mark Anthony Saldivar, that's the guy who Tay-K is accused of shooting and killing in a Chick-fil-A parking lot, according to prosecutors. If Tay-K gets found guilty, of that, then, he's never getting out of jail. Then the only thing where he will, the only place where he will ever get out of jail is basically in a casket if he gets found guilty of murder and gets life in prison, because by that point, man, it's like, once you get found guilty of capital murder, especially in a place like Texas, where I think you get an automatic life sentence, then, really, the only time Tay-K will ever get out of jail is by the time, he's going to be in his later years, still in jail if he gets found guilty, and really just in a casket. That's the only time Tay-K will ever get out of jail, if he, gets found guilty of the second capital murder. So it's like, really, Tay-K, man, I don't understand what he's on about, but like I said, man, Tay-K, I hate to say this, but I really feel like he has nobody but himself to blame. And I'm saying this is because, if I was Tay-K, what I would have done, just take a plea deal, just take a freaking plea deal, accept what you did was a very horrible thing, and maybe he would have gotten 20 years in jail like his other co-defendants did, or like at least I think 2 of his co-defendants got 20 years in jail, where I think they might have a shot at parole in 10 years or something. Don't take my word for it, but I'm just saying, if he would have taken a plea deal, then hey, maybe he could have just gone 20 years in jail and then came home after a decade. But now, he took the case to trial where he lost, and now he has to serve 27 and a half years before being eligible for parole. And really, just the fact that Tay-K is still refusing to take accountability for his action is really shocking, because, I just think that when Tay-K did the race music video, he didn't really understand the severity of his crimes. And just how it destroyed, so many families, like Ethan Walker, for example. Imagine the pain his family is going through, and he didn't show any ounce of remorse, not once, for, Ethan Walker's parents, who now have to, deal or basically grow up without a son. So, really, it's like, first of all, Tay-K, man, I just feel like that right now, he really just is still, not understanding somewhat. Maybe he does kind of understand the severity or like the actions of his crimes, but the thing is, it seems like that he's still refusing to take accountability, and he's just pointing the fingers at everybody, that this person is to blame, that person is to blame, that person is to blame, but myself, and that's the thing, man. It's like, if only Tay-K would have shown remorse, pled guilty, then maybe he would have felt better, because now it feels like that 55-year sentence is really setting in for him. And I mean, what can he do at this point, really? And yeah, it sucks that Tay-K's music career ended, because yeah, he could have been performing in front of millions of people. He could have been a great rapper, but the problem is just the choices he made in live are the reason why he's where he's at, you know, and that's nobody's fault but his own. Like, I hate to say this, man, but, you know, I'm just wondering that at the next capital murder trial that Tay-K is facing, is he even going to show any remorse for, you know, basically what he's accused of doing, that is killing Mark Anthony Saldivar, somebody he tried to rob of his camera equipment, according to prosecutors. And that's what I'm wondering, is Tay-K even going to show any ounce of remorse at the next capital murder trial, or no? Because something tells me he probably won't. He's probably going to, you know, come up and make some bullcrap excuse. And, you know, it's just, listen, man, with Tay-K, bro, yeah, it's just, he had the potential, but the problem is he threw it all away just because of, you know, just a really bad a choice he made in 2016 when he chose to go out there and try and rob somebody, especially in a state like Texas, where it doesn't matter if you're the getaway driver in a robbery. The fact of the matter is, if somebody gets killed, you know, even if you're the getaway driver, even if you're not the person who has the gun in your hand, you're still going to be charged with capital murder because you're an accomplice to that. And the thing is, Tay-K, he was an accomplice to that murder of Ethan Walker, okay? And the biggest thing I'm trying to figure out is, why did Tay-K just basically, you know, say no? Okay, let's not rob him. That's a very stupid thing to do. Let's not do that. Why didn't Tay-K just say no, we shouldn't rob him, okay? Because it's like, come on, he should have known. Like, I hate to say this, but I feel like he should have known better, you know, when it's like, okay, you're in Texas, you're trying to rob somebody with a gun, and you're expecting it not to go bad. Like, come on, bro, that's cap. So it's like, I just feel like that right now, Tay-K, he's basically doing the same thing, not taking accountability, just blaming everybody but himself, and it's really not helping his case, especially the next capital murder trial that he's facing. And I really don't know what else to say about this, man. It's just, Tay-K, I feel like he really has nobody but himself to blame, and the fact he's still refusing to take accountability is really shocking. But yeah, that's about it. Moral of the story is that in a state like Texas or Florida, crime, it doesn't pay there, okay? Crime, it don't pay there. And, you know, unfortunately, some people just still choose to make bad choices, even when, you know, the light, or even when you see the writing on the wall that, hey, if crime don't pay here, then maybe it would be a smart choice not to commit crime. But I guess, you know, Tay-K just didn't understand, and now, you know, he's in the slammer for the next couple of decades, possibly the rest of his life, if he gets found guilty of this next capital murder trial that he's facing. And I mean, really, it's like he made his bed, now he has to lie in it, unfortunately. So yeah, that's about it, man. See ya.